It is 8 p.m. and here are the top stories we're following.
A demand to investigate Aurora City officials after taking a trip across the Atlantic.
It reflects poorly on the entire city when the taxpayers expect their dollars to be spent wisely.
The mayor claims lack of transparency, but city leaders say it's a chance to make Aurora a better place to live.
The cynicism and the bad faith attacks, I don't really give a damn. This is about serving the people.
Left in the dark days after our late May snowstorm.
Now we're pushing on to 72 hours. It's hard to know what to believe at this point.
How some are preparing for the next blackout as communities move to clean up debris.
Plus, Coloradans set to get a bigger tax return this summer.
We can confirm that it'll be at least $500. That much is essentially locked in.
Good evening, and thank you for watching Denver 7 News on Local 3. I'm Jacqueline Allen.
I'm Danny New. Aurora Mayor Mike Kaufman is criticizing two city council members for taking a trip to Paris that will be covered by taxpayers.
Yeah, this trip was to attend a conference, something every city council member, including the mayor, has a set budget for. Denver 7's Ivan Rodriguez spoke with the mayor as well as a council member on the trip.
At the International Making Cities Livable Conference, attendees learn tools that can increase the quality of life for people in a number of areas like mental health, housing affordability, and urban planning.
It's a very municipally focused conference, and it's all about how do we make our cities better.
Last year, the conference took place in Carmel, Indiana. This year, Paris, France.
It's this kind of learning experience, seeing that it's not just an idea, like, you can actually take direct action as an elected official, as a local governing body, and get the results you want.
Aurora Council members Juan Marcano and Crystal Murillo attended the conference. Despite all the knowledge they'll be returning home with from France, Mayor Kaufman says the trip was completely unnecessary.
The optics are bad. It reflects poorly on the entire city when the taxpayers expect their dollars to be spent wisely. In my view, this was nothing short of a European vacation at taxpayers' expense.
Each city council member is given $7,000 a year as a travel budget for conferences, meaning the trip was legal.
Is it right? No. Does it reflect poorly on the city? Yes.
Based on travel reports provided by the city of Aurora, the trip cost Councilman Marcano a little more than $3,000 and Councilwoman Murillo around $5,500. An expense Marcano says helps provide the city with new ideas, but instead the focus is on a pointless argument.
The cynicism and the bad faith attacks from hate radio people and from other elected officials, I don't really give a damn. This is about serving the people. Our people deserve to, have their local elected officials learn from the best, and I'm bringing back that information so that we can make our city a standard for the country.
Mayor Kaufman says he will be putting forward a proposal to prohibit Aurora City Council members from using tax dollars to pay for any international conference in the future, unless requested by the Office of International Immigrant Affairs, the city, or Aurora's Sister Cities program.
If you want to learn about the challenges before us, they're really right here. You can learn about them right here.
Ivan Rodriguez, Denver 7.
Thank you, Ivan. And we are learning more about the deadly plane crash in Broomfield on Sunday. The single-engine plane crashed in the Anthem Ranch subdivision yesterday afternoon, killing both people on board. NTSB investigators tell us that the plane was in the air for less than a minute when it hit a tree and crashed. The two people who died were certified private pilots. The NTSB is still investigating the cause, and we could see a preliminary report in 10 days.
9 people were shot over the weekend in 6 shootings all across the Denver metro. In the one fatal shooting, a 20-year-old man was killed. This happened in Aurora early Saturday morning after a party on South Peoria. A teen was also injured, and police have no information on a suspect. In Colorado Springs, a teenage boy was arrested for shooting 2 young people inside the Citadel Mall food court. The victims, a 12-year-old girl and a teenage boy, are recovering in the hospital. Police say the teenage boy was the intended target of the shooter.
And according to an FBI report, the deadliest active shooter incident in 2021 was the King Soopers shooting in Boulder, where 10 people lost their lives. The NBA released the numbers, or the FBI, released the numbers of all the incidents in 2021. There were 61 across the country, a 52.5% increase from 2020, and a 96.8% increase from 2017. The report included 3 other shootings in Colorado, in Old Town Arvada, Elks Lodge in Colorado Springs, and Lakewood.
New video shows former Bronco cornerback Brendan Langley involved in a fight with a United Airlines employee last week. According to TMZ, Langley was arrested last Thursday for simple assault at Newark Liberty International Airport. Langley was drafted by the Broncos back in 2017 before being cut in 2019. The cleanup continues tonight, days after a late spring snowstorm hits the Front Range and made its way down to the metro.
The storm left a lot of neighborhoods buried in tree limbs and hundreds of homes without power for days. Bethany Koenig and some of her neighbors in Lakewood's Applewood neighborhood went without power for nearly 60 hours. It finally came back on around 1 this afternoon. And after all that, the nearly 3-day ordeal got her thinking about the future.
My husband and I were just talking about maybe we do need to look into having an actual generator hooked up professionally to our home in case this does happen again.
Xcel tells us that all outages due to the storm specifically have been restored, but at last check, Xcel is still working to restore power to nearly 250 customers.
Meanwhile, some other people in parts of the metro are still looking for tree removal services. Denver 7's CB Cotton joins us with more details on how long some neighborhoods will have to wait for the tree debris to be removed. Hey, CB.
Danny, Jacqueline, there's definitely going to be a wait for some people in different parts of the metro. We're here in a neighborhood in East Centennial, and if you take a look behind me, this is a downed tree. We're seeing others like it all throughout this neighborhood. Earlier today, we spoke with a woman who has 2 downed trees in her yard and several broken tree limbs. She's hoping to get this fixed very soon, get it cleaned up very soon, and she's already contacted her arborist, but I can tell you he won't be by until later on this week. That woman, her name is Karen Ram, and she told us she's invested a lot of time, energy, and money into her yard's landscape. So Saturday morning, she was thrilled to see that her trees were mostly intact, but within a few hours, she heard a loud thud, and she came outside to find broken branches everywhere, a huge disappointment. She says she made a call to her arborist on Saturday, and she finally got a call back today.
I found out today that they had 250 calls. They're dealing with all the trees that have fallen on the power lines. And this one across the street, the whole pole came down. So they're in the process of replacing that now.
Arborists, landscapers, any tree removal services, they are very, very busy right now. That woman, her name Karen Ram, she says her arborist is going to be able to come out on Wednesday, and she's eager for this because she really wants to get things cleaned up. Coming up on Denver 7 News at 10, we'll look at more options for people looking to get these tree limbs taken out of their yard. Jacqueline, I'm going to send things back over to you.
All right, thank you, CB. What a mess there. And people reaching out to contact Denver 7 are asking what to do with all the tree limbs brought down in this storm. So we found the rules are different depending on where you live. We have a full list of drop-off locations all around the Denver metro. Make sure to check their website before heading out the door, as date and times could change and some restrictions may apply.
And now this recent storm did at least help with Colorado's drought and fire danger. Today, Boulder County even rescinded its Stage 1 fire ban, and the county sheriff says that the snow and rain storms have, quote, increased the relative humidity and have decreased the fire risk for Boulder County. Wet weather also helped firefighters at the Plumtaw fire near Pagosa Springs. That fire is now 33% contained, which is up from just 12% on Sunday. And the Sims fire near Ouray is now 90% contained. Firefighters hope to have the 300-plus acre fire fully contained by tomorrow. During a community meeting over the weekend, crews told residents fire mitigation work was happening near the area where that fire began last week, but the exact cause is still under investigation.
Colorado taxpayers can expect to receive at least $500 in the mail this summer. That's thanks in part to a new bill signed just today by Governor Polis. Single filers will get at least $500 and joint filers at least $1,000. Polis says that amount is actually higher than originally thought because of the state's strong economic recovery, and those checks should arrive in August or September.
The governor also signed the Family Affirmation Act, making it official. The law protects the rights of parents of children born through assisted reproduction like surrogacy and in vitro fertilization. It also allows parents in that scenario to complete an adoption of the child in a more streamlined fashion. That law in particular is meaningful for LGBTQ parents who conceive children through assisted reproduction.
Mountains get some snow tonight. We'll get some rain showers tonight and tomorrow in Denver, but you're going to love the end of the week forecast.
life on the run.
Boulder, it turns out, at 5,600 feet, is pretty much the perfect place to train at altitude.
Olympian Frank Shorter shares his excitement for the return of Boulder Boulder after a 2-year hiatus.
It really has become as much an annual reunion has been a road race.
And the Avs looking to even the series in St. Louis, where police are actually investigating threats against one of their players.
It's a loose puck. I'm just trying to bang it in.
D and Naz are both going for a loose puck sitting at the top of the crease, skating in there downhill, as hard as they can go.